International Fathers Mental Health Day has revealed a lack of workplace support for Australian fathers, both pre and post natal leave. Perinatal depression and anxiety impacts 1 in 10 Aussie dads each year, and more than 2/3 of new dads don't know how to identify the signs. For more on this, I'm joined by clinical psychologist Chris Barnes. Chris, thank you so much for your time this morning. We're certainly hearing a lot more now than historically about mothers being affected by postnatal depression, with 1 in 5 affected. But like all mental illnesses, it doesn't discriminate, and in fact, fathers can also suffer from anxiety and depression following the birth of a child. Now, this is something we don't hear too much about.
No, we don't, do we, Lucy? Thanks for having me. I think it's so important to try and raise awareness that it actually is a condition, it's treatable, it's temporary, and it doesn't just happen to new mums, new and expectant mums. So the 1 in 10 statistic for Australian new dads is really important, isn't it, to get out there and let them know that they can get help. And please reach out and do so, because there are many organisations, including Gidget, who can support them.
Absolutely. Now, when you have a baby or someone has a baby, there is an expectation that you're happy and in love. So it is difficult for many mums and dads to talk about it, having those feelings of depression and anxiety, because I'd imagine there's also an element of guilt associated with that. Is there still a stigma associated with PNDA?
I think there definitely is still a stigma, and that is, as you say, Lucy, like so beautifully, that it is a real barrier to people getting help. They do feel guilt, they do feel shame. It's meant to be one of the happiest times, in people's lives. And for 1 in 10 dads and 1 in 5 new and expectant mums, it's not. And the symptoms can be mild, moderate, or even severe. Gidget was set up because this beautiful mum, whose nickname was Gidget, took her own life with postnatal depression, like almost 22 years ago now. So I guess the foundation has worked hard to ensure and hope that this doesn't happen to any other mums or dads, and hence really getting behind this special International Fathers Mental Health Day to let men know what to look out for, the sort of signs for it as well, and then resources to help them.
How do you identify the signs?
Well, I think it is hard to know. And as you said, 2/3 of Aussie men and new and expectant fathers don't know what they are. They are general signs of depression and anxiety. It could be when your sleep's really disrupted, your appetite goes, you're just really, really low mood. Nothing is bringing you joy anymore. And even the things that you used to find joyful and enjoyable are just not that anymore. So there's sort of depressive symptoms with low mood and negative thoughts, that life is terrible, nothing's really going to help me. And then we have more physical symptoms. And often with men, we find that the physical symptoms are the things they notice first. And they might go to the GP with, stomach upsets or headaches, or not be able to concentrate or focus at work anymore. And look, when you're a new dad, sleep and those things does go out the window a bit, just like it does for new mums. So it's really if those symptoms persist, and some people even get thoughts of self-harm and even suicidal thoughts. So I guess it is really important to even get in as early as you can and seek help, look out for those signs. And if you're just not feeling good for 2 weeks or more and nothing is really alleviating how you're feeling, then please go and see your GP and talk it through.
And Chris, from this report as well, it was also found that new dads weren't supported enough in the workplace. Is that something that should be reconsidered? Should there be more support offered to new dads in the workplace?
Yeah, I think that's right. Like, as well as raising awareness for maybe, people in the community to look out for their mates, or even a new dad to sort of notice the signs, we have to do a lot of work in the workplace. Like, for example, even normalising flexible working hours would be really helpful. So dads want to play a part in their children's lives now more than ever before. The role of dads has changed an awful lot in the last couple of years. So I think workplaces can do a lot more. And as you say, 1 in 5 felt well supported, during their partner's pregnancy, and 1 in 3 felt supported when they returned to work after parental leave. So there's a big gap of those who didn't feel well enough supported. And I think there's a lot we can do in education for businesses and organisations to support new and expectant dads.
Absolutely, and it certainly helps talking about it too, Chris. Now, you mentioned if you are feeling any signs or symptoms to see your GP, but where else can new parents go to seek information and advice as well?
Well, I think one of the main ports of call is obviously our website, Gidget Foundation Australia. We have fact sheets for dads, we have virtual village support groups, we even have a Gidget Giving Day this Wednesday. We're hoping to raise some funds to be able to continue to support parents. We offer free counselling to new and expectant dads Australia-wide, especially in regional and rural areas that, have their unique sort of challenges as well and maybe a bit more isolated. So if you go to that website, there are lots of resources there for new dads. And that's probably the best place to go rather than mentioning all of the resources, but there are a lot. So please go to the website and have a look.
That's certainly good to know. And as you say, just starting the conversation, having the conversation is one of the very first steps that can help. Chris Barnes, thank you so much. We do appreciate your time and your advice this morning.
Thank you, Lucy.